You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Michael, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hi, this is the illustrious Michael K. Easton.
I'm Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
And I'm the artist formerly known as Seth. And now I'm just going by this unpronounceable symbol now. But I'd like Michael's pronunciations. Pronounce this symbol. It's my new name.
2 scoops.
I like it.
Yes. It was supposed to be obviously an ice cream cone. So whatever you want to call it.
That looks like a Wits 2 scooper.
Yeah. Prince died. The purple elephant in the room.
I'm going to make the worst joke possible right now.
Good.
So I apologize, world. I bet China's really sad that she picked that day to die.
Oh, because she got second.
Yeah, it was like 2 seconds. Everyone's like, and they're like, oh, it's Prince.
I just imagined him riding her shoulders up to heaven. Tiny little Prince and giant wrestler.
They could totally do the Colossus Speedball special with Wolverine. I like it.
Those are some great jokes. Is that what it sounds like when doves cry? What did you see? Harriet Tubman's going to be on the $20 bill.
I saw that.
Last I saw, they were splitting bill.
Yeah, after they said it, then
splitting the bill.
Jackson's going to be on the back or something.
I'm totally outraged, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah,
I am.
I made up all new currency. I started with so on the 1 should be Martin Luther King. 5, Lincoln can keep it because he's not going to be on the penny anymore. It's a waste. Edison on the 10, Harriet Tubman, leave her on the 20. Then we got Kurt Russell on the 50, Captain America on the 100. We go ahead and have Prince on the 1000 and David Bowie on the back. It's timely.
I like it.
And $2 bill, Snake Eyes. There's a real American hero. Superman can't be on anything, Michael, because he wasn't born in America.
Well, it depends on which continuity you're talking about.
And Batman does get to be on just giant pennies. If anybody really wants to carry pennies, and that's it. Anybody have any ideas for change? Somebody should be on some more currency. Who do I leave out? I got all the important Americans, I thought.
I feel like if you have like a check return or something, they should like give you a picture of 50 Cent.
Martin Luther King should be on something.
I said the 1.
Oh, did you?
Michael's on top. He's on top of things tonight.
I'm getting naked because my shirt's on backwards.
All right, we're going to start. Oh my God!
Our first topless podcast. We're playing shirts and skins.
I'm a hairy monster.
Quick, go to comics.
How can you read this? There's no pictures.
Well, some people use their imagination.
Well, I must hurry back to my comic book store where I dispense the insults rather than absorb them.
Happens all the time. Read a comic book, okay?
We're starting with comics this week. Big headline, Walking Dead, The Alien.
Oh, that was actually pretty good.
I just read it.
Everybody read it good. Everybody did.
We actually did what you asked.
Yay, did your homework. Walking Dead, The Alien. For the first time, Robert Kirkman has allowed another writer to work on the series, and it's one of my faves. Brian K. Vaughan.
Although Jordan has a very good suggestion about the story.
Well, I can't wait to hear it. Let's let him know what's going on here.
Okay, I do.
In 2000, he can't. Well, he doesn't even know. You think of a very good suggestion.
We just had this conversation.
You've got 5 seconds. Go.
I don't remember conversations I don't record.
Yeah, that's all. I just play back things I've said on air. In 2004, there's kind of some backstory to it. You know, when Walking Dead had just started. The two of them met, and BKV was like a fan of Kirkman's and vice versa. He had Why the Last Man Out was finally having success, and Kirkman was just starting out and had been buying The Walking Dead, and he told him, I think you got a future ahead of you. He's like, I secretly didn't think it was going to be with this black and white zombie comic, but boy, was I wrong. But he said, so they, of course were friends, and then he started the Panel Syndicate in 2013 with Marcos Martin, and they wanted to just be a digital-only publisher for their series Private Eye, which they just charge whatever you want to pay, which is kind of nice. If you can't afford it, at least you're looking at their stuff. You know, it's all digital anyway. But then the irony of the story was supposed to be that the story, Private Eye, is set in a future with no internet, and he would only sell it on the internet. And Kirkman told him that was stupid. He said he tweeted at him and said, "How about when are you going to let us print Private Eye at Image in hardcover?" And he said, "When you let us write a Walking Dead story." So done deal. And they Martin started working on it, and they submitted it to Kirkman and asked him what he thought, and he said, "Run with it." So this just came out this past week, and it was pretty good. It, you know, kind of
yeah, we won't give away who the star of the strip is, because I read the article before I read the thing.
Oh, really?
And it gave away who the character was.
That's
it has
takes some of the punch out of it.
It has some tangential
know,
relation to the characters we know, but it's not a vital, you know, twist ending or anything like that.
I don't read anything without pictures, so I was fine.
But it's at PandleSyndicate.com. If you go there, you can read it for free. They're getting a lot of free advertising, but it'd be nice to throw them a couple bucks for their work.
I'll tell you, I did have a crisis when it said, like, how much do you want to pay? I was like, I really want to pay nothing. But since you're asking, I felt very guilty of, like, I should pay something.
I'm a brick and mortar store. You should be paying me.
I didn't pay anything. Sorry, Brian Vaughn.
But Kirkman is letting them keep 100% of the contributions, because they got print rights to Private Eye. So I guess that was the deal. But yeah, there's some, you know, it answers some questions about the Walking Dead world. You know, the one thing I will let out that it says, people have always Kirkman has always joked that in Australia or other countries, they're all fine. So it kind of answers that question and some other surprises, but you should go read it. Walking Dead the Alien.
Do you like Martin's art, Mike?
Who's that?
The guy who drew that.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, actually, I did like it. I really liked the how he drew the female character with the black and white line work. It's like it was simple, yet certain things were detailed. Very the line work was very nice on it. Sometimes
he's done some Spider-Man, some Daredevil, and I really love it. It's not quite like Mike Allred's simple, but it's simple. It has a very clean look to it. I really like
fine lines and just like it looks very delicate looking.
And it's one of those styles that if you first look at it, you don't get that much out of it because you lump it in. But if you actually pay attention to the art, it does have way more depth than you would initially think.
We saw the Wizard World is scaling back. Scaling back their number of conventions after filing a $4.25 million loss in 2015.
I'm bitter.
I swear this isn't the first year they've recorded a loss. I know in the past couple of years there's been similar articles like this. I don't remember a number that big, but they've been operating at a loss for a little while now, I believe.
It's amazing you can operate at a loss when artists and actors and stuff charge like an arm and a leg for an autographed picture.
Not that I don't want to take sides, because a lot of people love that show. A lot, you know, as
I'm
attendees.
Taking sides.
And I
totally taking sides.
I know some artists that swear by it, that they make a lot of money there and have really good shows there.
Yeah,
but
Victor Dandridge, I think.
Dandridge.
Yeah, he's like a Wizard World exclusive, and I'm completely just talking all over you. I'm sorry, let me back up. Go ahead, Jordan.
I was just correcting how he said his name, sir.
Why do we hate him? I just want to be real clear.
Wizard World? It's just over bloated. They bought a bunch of cons. They shut down cons that were actually pretty decent, jacked up prices, and this is just completely from an indie side.
Like jacked up the prices to get in, what they're charging people to have tables,
both.
I assume is what you're...
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
not just to get in.
Be clear what it is they're doing.
The last time I went, I believe it was $200 for an Artist Alley table, and that was years ago, before they even started bringing in Chris Hemsworth and those kind of Norman Reedus and those kind of names. So I'm sure it's gone up since then.
Last time I checked, it was $350.
There's no reason for me to go, so I haven't been there in a while.
And it was also depending on which one you were going to. Like, they actually changed the prices based on the location, which I think is totally unfair. But I'm a crabby person.
But yeah, like I said, this is coming from the point of view of struggling indie artists. So if you love the show, I mean, great. It's usually a fun time, but we're not trying to...
Been to one.
Yeah, we're not trying to revel in other
Norman
people's
Reedus was there. I was like, hey, there's that guy.
Yeah, I was like, we saw Val Kilmer and Dean Cain.
Yeah, he was there too. And we might have been at the same show. Probably.
Could have been. That's why you didn't say hi to me.
I was like trying to blend in with a billion other people. Saw a actual trailer for Civil War II, the comics coming out.
Really?
It was like panels from the comics and like a voiceover trying to build some excitement, get you to go.
I'm sorry, Seth, but we need to interrupt you. We have some breaking news coming downtown from our secret location. We're going right now to Sexy James Olsen.
He can't do it, folks. He's trying. Go for it.
Just commit to it, Mike. Commit.
Hi, I'm Sexy James Olsen, and I'm down here at the Daily Planet, and I'm seeing that the new Superman 52 is dead. Speculation is... I'm screwing that all up.
Be slightly less racist, too. Dial down the racism by like 2 clicks.
Don't stop now. Keep going.
Oh. I feel like he just thought of this 2 minutes ago.
Hi, I'm Sexy James Olsen, and we're bringing you breaking live coverage down here by the Daily Planet, and we have word that the new Superman 52 might be dying, or he is dead. We do not know, but we just want to bring this live coverage back to you, faux hawk Jimmy Olsen.
Why they never let Jimmy in front of the camera?
So, Sexy James Olsen was talking to
Faux Hawk.
Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen.
I didn't quite paint the picture until you said that, but okay.
I'm going to completely
they're best
buds. Completely like that.
I don't know. It should be in there somewhere.
I think that one goes at the end.
So you're saying the rumor is the new 52 Superman that they've depowered and shaved his head, wearing a t-shirt and jeans. They're going to kill him off.
That seems to be where it's pointing to in the Rebirth titles. Is you're seeing
pre-crisis Superman coming back as the Superman.
Yeah,
you're saying.
Because no one liked the 52 Superman, and I've never been so happy to hear Superman die.
Well, let's just go to TV then and
sure
talk some Supergirl.
You have failed this city. Run, Barry, run!
Marvel and DC on TV.
I am Supergirl.
What's your name, darling?
Agent.
Jovelin!
Big season finale happened this past week.
Oh, was that this? I didn't even realize that was the season finale.
That was it.
I heard that was really good.
You haven't seen it?
Well, it was funny because you guys were asking me about the week prior, and I couldn't remember why I couldn't remember it. And then it dawned on me that...
It's next level.
I've been working so many hours the last 2 weeks that I'm like exhausted. And I fell asleep towards the end of it. So I missed the whole last 10 minutes of where...
I'm going to get... You did? You missed the last 10 minutes?
Of the week before. The prior week.
I haven't even watched this one yet. I have it on my rotation.
No, I watched it today.
Okay, I'm going to give you a non-spoiler spoiler then. At the end, she pops Sexy James's cork just by holding it in her hand.
That's true.
Was it back up?
That happened.
Oh, Sexy James Olsen.
It was a pretty good. I mean, I didn't realize it was the season finale, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean,
all the heartfelt speeches.
Yeah,
and tears,
all about hope.
Couldn't tell it was the big.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, they were laying it on pretty thick. The whole news thing. Yeah. Well, we can't talk about poor sexy Mike Easton right here.
We got a big dose of the Martian Manhunter this week.
It was a pretty strong finale, though. I enjoyed it.
Big little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You know, the way you do a cliffhanger.
Well, that's what I wanted. I wanted Michael's opinion on
the
end.
That's what I had the question
end,
here.
So.
I can't ask it now.
Damn it.
Because I don't have a clue. I couldn't guess.
I'm not even going to think about it. I was just going to ask.
I was trying to get to it. I'm sorry, guys.
That's all right. We'll ask some other time. This is our little cliffhanger also. And then let's see. Little news to back up my theory of who I say is going to die on The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a spoiler what I think. Walking Dead star Stephen Young joins Bong Joon-ho's sci-fi show that he had a Snowpiercer, and it's got Jake Gyllenhaal, Tilda Swinton, Paul Dano. Starts filming in 3 weeks.
Well, I've heard that too.
It starts filming today, I think, and Walking Dead starts filming in 3 weeks, and some of that filming for this movie is in South Korea. So
obviously very close to Georgia.
Right. It'll be real handy.
It's a long time to hide under a dumpster.
Exactly.
Now, I've heard like Norman Reedus had a show filming. I heard that weeks ago.
But that's nothing.
That's like his biker show.
But everyone's looking at those kind of schedules to see, trying to guess who it was.
Yeah, I saw that headline too. They threw that out there talking about the biker show, when it starts. But be real, he's got that show on AMC because that was part of his new contract.
Right.
He's like, they're like, you're going to be on this show, and here we want to keep you on this show, so we're going to give you another show that is
Whatever
a waste of
keeps
time.
you happy.
Yeah, exactly. He's not going to be off of there and just ride bikes around. And I saw that thing you guys put about Sci-Fi Network going to get a show called Krypton.
Yes, that was supposedly in development for a really long time, and I was surprised to see it back in speculation. But it's supposed to be the world of Krypton when Jor-El was trying to make his name better or something to do with an ancestor that screwed up the House of El. And thankfully, I saw what the Superman 52 did. But
so yay, nay?
I'll wait and see. It's got Goyer attached to it, so
yeah. But a show.
Yeah, so did Batman versus Superman.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I said I'll wait and see.
A show based on boring, cold Kryptonians.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which Kryptonian. Again,
I just waited. I was like, somebody say something negative so he can defend.
The House of El, baby. It's in my middle name.
Well, Gotham has had mixed reactions trying to do a show without Batman, so I don't know, doing a Superman show without Superman, I guess they think they can pull it off.
You mean a show about villains that were created about Batman, but Batman's not in it?
I believe we're talking about the same thing.
I thought Mr. Freeze looked stupid. Boy, I'm just...
I want almost everything you say I want as a ringtone.
How much sleep have you had, Michael?
Maybe 2.5 hours today. So
we're getting unfiltered.
You're getting beyond unfiltered.
Just so you know, his shirt is back on.
It is, and it's right sided up.
Right side up. You should have seen it before. I don't know how he had that thing around his waist.
I'm dying. It is funny because I got a red shirt on and a blue hoodie.
Yeah.
Make it stop.
Make it rain. Are we gonna
I can't wait to make it rain with my I'm gonna roll in the club with a pocket full of tubs.
Pocket full of tubs.
Anyway, Fear the Walking Dead started. Tell us about it, Jordan.
Yay.
Actually, that's what's really funny is I'm not watching The Walking Dead, but I'm watching Fear of the Walking Dead.
Yeah, it started season 2 right when Walking Dead ended. The very next week, launched right into Fear the Walking Dead. And the first season wasn't bad. I thought it was really slow starting, but I thought it ended pretty strongly. But these first couple episodes I haven't liked very much.
I've only seen the first one.
I watched them. I wasn't too thrilled either.
Actually, my brother asked me what, because he missed the first episode, and he was like, well, was it any good? And without trying to make a joke, apparently I described it perfectly, because they're all on a yacht.
Mm.
The rich guy who took them to their house at the end of last season, they're all out on a boat. And I said, I don't know, it's just a bunch of people on a boat, and they all have feelings. And I was like, yeah, that's actually perfect. The whole episode was just, there's the whiny teen who's sad because, oh, my mom got turned into a zombie. Why did you shoot her? It's like,
yeah,
have you been
so
in the
getting
world?
old.
Like, and everyone's, oh, I'm sad about this or I'm mad about this. It's like, okay, we get you all have feelings. Just move on.
Right. You think they'd have some more rough edges by now.
I was surprised.
That's why I hate teenagers, moody, surly teenagers in these
on
kind of
TV
shows.
or in real life. Yeah,
it's like the kids. What in Walking Dead? What I forget the names, Randy or whatever. Rick's new lady, her teenage kid.
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
It's like, you know what? The world ended. You're not allowed to pout and be like, oh, I'm so disaffected. Like, grow up.
Right. Yeah, they've got too
There's
many
bigger
of those.
problems around here.
It's a way to fill an hour show. Yeah. That's the thing. You're eating up some of my time here. And, we haven't talked about this before, but I probably mentioned how I loved Breaking Bad. It was my favorite show. And Better Call Saul just ended its second season strong. How many of us watch it?
Me
and Jordan. You guys neither. Did you ever? I know Cliff hasn't seen Breaking Bad. Did you watch Breaking Bad?
They're both in my Netflix queue. Okay. I've yet to touch any of them.
The second season of Better Call Saul is definitely better than the first season. I thought it really laid the groundwork. and build up to some really good tension in that.
I wasn't sure how it was going to last. I don't think the creators were either, because they said they wanted to kind of, after such a heavy show like Breaking Bad, they wanted to, have an easier, more fun show. And this has just as many layers, just as much darkness. Like, it's just as complicated, so many characters. I've really loved it. This and Fargo were last year my favorite things on TV.
Mm-hmm. The neat thing about Better Call Saul is where, you're getting all these, they're trying to tie up some things. You see characters come in that were on Breaking Bad. So kind of it's a prequel showing you
but it's
things
not really gratuitous. It's not like fan service.
There's more of it than I thought there was going to be after watching the first season, but also it's well done. It's not just, like you said, just for show. The only thing is that might pull some of the punch out of the show is knowing the future of some of these characters and whether they live or die, and what's going to happen to them on this show is kind of
the finale of this second season. I had 2 moments where I literally gasped out loud, and I don't normally I don't have emotions. I don't react to things.
Yeah. When you ride around on a yacht, you just sit there.
I don't have feelings. But because
he's a cold-hearted snake.
But the best scene in season 1 was Bob Odenkirk and Michael McKean having this face-off, and these 2 really comedic actors had this amazing scene back and forth. And it's been simmering for a whole season. So something happens with Michael McKean, and I realized what it was about 30 seconds before they revealed it. And I audibly was like, Chuck, what are you doing? And freaked out. And then something with the character Mike Ehrmantraut, the fixer from Breaking Bad. He's been kind of the co-star of this season.
Yeah.
Something happens with him where I was like, no, wait, why would that happen? That's why I realized. So TV very rarely gives me a guttural reaction, but this show really did.
I'm glad to hear somebody else liking it. It's definitely.
And Vince Gilligan said the episodes, the names of the episodes of this season.
Yeah, it's whether you
spelled out. Spoiler.
It definitely did, and they did not expect people to figure that out, which I'm surprised. We've got millions of people on the job here. People are gonna figure that out. So yeah, we're definitely.
And Ray Seahorn on that show, the female lead, I don't know anything she's been in before, but she deserves an Emmy. This was her season.
You'll see her again, just like Giancarlo Esposito in Breaking Bad. You never saw him before that, and now he's been in several things. I think the same thing will happen for her.
Yeah, this is her breakout role for sure.
Movies!
Wow.
Oh, here we go.
I was just going to say, I did see Jessica Jones win some kind of award.
A Peabody.
Yeah.
Ah.
What is a Peabody?
It's an award.
It's an award. It's
some kind of award. A Peabody. What's that? It's an award.
I've read it.
A
Peabody.
You look smart.
It's where she's allowed to go back in time with the dog Sherman.
Yes.
Is Sherman the dog or the kid?
Sherman's the kid.
Yes.
Right?
Mr. Peabody's the dog.
Ironically, they never gave him an award.
Boy, this went off the rails quickly. Moving on. What'd you say about movies?
Okay, let's see. The Peabody Award program, named for American businessman and philanthropist George Peabody, recognizes distinguished and meritorious public service by American radio and television. Boom. Internet.
Okay. Internet. Google.
So, movies.
I just read they're casting the new Flash movie already.
Whoa.
5 parts for it. Iris. Eobard Thawne, who apparently is again in a wheelchair. I wonder where they got that idea. And some character named Len Snart.
You always have a great name that you introduce into the show every time. I've been so infatuated with Ike Perlmutter for the last few weeks. We need a drop for. I actively search for Perlmutter news just so I can bring him up. And when you do make the drop, I want it to the tune of Goldfinger.
Oh, I like it.
Perlmutter.
I was just thinking of like a heavy 5-finger death punch, like Perlmutter. He was just in the news again for something.
Yeah.
I read it.
That's what I was going to bring up.
I'll issue this challenge for next week. Try and find a picture of Ike Perlmutter.
I saw one.
Oh, he just dropped like mad cash on a nanotechnology kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, it was like stem cell and things like that. But yeah, I saw one picture of him.
That's like all you'll find.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're casting the Flash now with Ezra Miller, and I'm like,
I like. Okay, he's been in a couple things I like. I may not have seen anything. There was
just needs to get a freaking haircut.
He probably will.
I saw him in some teen emo movie a few years ago.
Yeah, I think it was Perks of Being a Woman. Was that it? Yeah, Perks of Being a Wallflower. Maybe.
Yes.
That he was in Trainwreck, Amy Schumer, and he was in We Need to Talk About Kevin, which was.
Was he the 17-year-old in Trainwreck? He played in Trainwreck.
Yeah, he was the
underage.
Yes. Okay. So I got my Civil War tickets. They're in my pocket right now. I'll watch it.
Let's hold them down and still them. Start on a little Civil War.
I heard it's going to be. This is the best rave I've heard. Best Civil War since the original. But I continue to hear good press about it from people that not just some of the lower people that
Disney employees.
Like. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But they're like the hype is real. It's awesome.
You guys all see the little skit on the net with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans in the.
I didn't listen to it.
No, but please act it out for us.
Yes.
Oh, it was really funny. It was Robert Downey Jr. had a donut, and Chris Evans comes up.
Robert Downey Jr. had a donut. What?
And there's Elizabeth Olsen behind them, and Robert Downey Jr. is like staring at this donut, and Chris Evans comes up, and he's just like, "Is that the last red, blue, and sprinkle donut?"
Go on.
And he's like, he's just staring at him, and he's like, "You know what I told you would happen if you ate the last red, white, and sprinkled donut?" And he said, "You would tell me that hell would rain down in fire."
He's actually acting it out.
And at that point, Elizabeth Olsen goes, and then it ends.
I'll have to watch it. I don't feel like I'm getting it.
Scene.
We've talked about with this. We have the new website, and we talk about like bonus content or premium content. I think a green screened
somebody animate this
of Michael and Michael acting this out would be perfect premium content.
And then Michael in the background dressed in drag for the screen.
Oh my lord, that would be awesome.
I think I'm sweating over here.
Leave the shirt on. I hate to say it, but more Avatar news. They were talking to James Cameron. Go ahead. See what you got.
No, I just thought it was very funny because I was listening to Nerdist, and I can't remember who they were talking to, but they did that whole bit about only China likes Avatar.
Oh, really?
Like it was
beat the Nerdist to some news.
I listen to some movie things too, and because of the day we record, we talk about stuff before other people. We're not the big copycats.
Nice.
Yay.
We need to get on the Nerd Scoreboard. But yeah, they were all riffing on that only China likes. Oh, that's what it was. It was Judd Apatow. They were talking about smaller movies and bigger movies, and they were talking about Avatar and only Chinese people liking it. So
anyway, shooting all four of these things concurrently.
Whew.
It's like one day they might be doing a scene from movie number 4, the next day might be from movie number 1. It's like it just sounds like
a mess.
Yes,
that sounds like fun.
But he did say I was curious about the fact that he was putting them on Christmas and kind of staking out all these years. And this is James Cameron said, "My original plan was to release them a year apart, but we're opening that up if for no other reason than that I don't want to land on the same date as one of the Star Wars prequels." He said that wouldn't be fair to them, and he laughed. He said, "No, that's just good business. I don't want to go head to head with them, and that would be stupid. And hopefully they won't want to go head to head with us."
So basically, Disney's told him
they might. My first instinct is Disney's like, okay, we're moving the Han Solo movie to that Christmas now, just to fight him on it. I could totally see that happening.
Well, it's no secret he's been a major pain in Disney's ass. This whole Animal Kingdom Avatar Land project, it's been way behind schedule because they can't get him to cooperate or anything with it. And had they, at the time, owned Star Wars, this Avatar thing would have never happened. It was just, what can we get that's big, that we can compete with Universal and Harry Potter at the time?
Daisy Ridley is in talks to be in another J.J. Abrams produced fantasy thriller entitled Coma, which is based on the 2003 Israeli movie All I've Got, which concerns a woman who's given the chance upon death to travel back in time to be reunited with the boyfriend she lost in a car accident. Which, time travel. I like that. Mm-hmm. I just thought it's her chance to do something else, maybe while she's got this fame. They announced today, Deadpool comes out
on digital.
Well, yeah, it comes out on disc the 10th of May is what they've been announcing, which is still less than 3 months after it came out in theaters. Right. But now on the 26th of this month, next Tuesday, this Tuesday is the digital out. You could just watch Deadpool next week.
Yeah. We were talking about
tomorrow, as the case may be.
Yeah. Talking about time travel, and I don't want to go back to TV, but did anybody notice we didn't mention Legends of Tomorrow, but has anybody watched it this week?
We should go back in time 15 minutes and talk about Legends of Tomorrow on the podcast.
We haven't talked about
and then kidnap Michael's infant self and hide him in a closet somewhere.
We will protect him. But did anybody else notice they call Rip Hunter his quote real name Michael?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It totally threw me off there.
They revealed his real
But shouldn't it be Theodore, as like in the comics? And of course, Michael John Carter was Booster Gold.
See, that's what happens, Legends of Tomorrow, when you keep screwing with the timeline.
You mess up people's real names.
So it seems they're doing this on purpose? So are you saying if Michael is Booster Gold, what does this mean?
Well, in the comic spoilers, Rip is actually Booster Gold's son.
Oh, okay.
His real son. And his name is Theodore Carter, named after Ted Kord.
Okay. I got you.
So, anyways, it just
Blue Beetle.
Zapped in my head there. Sorry.
Yeah. So while we're on it, you got your arm raised. I'm going to call on you, Michael.
I want to talk about Flash and how it took a really dark turn this week. Evidently, they're not listening to our podcast because we've been talking about how great it is and bright, and man, it really went off the rails into a dark corner.
Now he has to take the bus to get anywhere.
Well, actually, I'm a little disappointed about that because for him being the fastest man alive, that was the dumbest thing in the world to do. Evident. Spoiler alert. Zoom says he's gotten faster. Here's the weird part about it all is he uses a tachyon accelerator that makes him faster, and he disappears for a second, comes back. Does not mention Supergirl at all.
I think that was a sly way to show where that fell in the continuity without going into anything if you didn't see it as a CW watcher.
The bright side of it was that we did get to see Vibe become more Vibe, with his powers and what he can do and all that fun stuff. But we find out the reason why, Jay Garrick is Hunter Zolomon, this crazy nut from Earth 2, which makes me want to go, well, who is Jay Garrick?
The man in the Iron Mask.
Which I was talking to Christy about this the other night. I said, I think we have this all wrong. I think Earth 2 is the Grant Morrison Earth 2, where all the heroes were villains, because all the duplicates from our Earth are turning out to be villains. So I'm thinking that they're following suit with that and saying, hey, this is the crime syndicate Earth.
It could be.
But anyway, it was really dark and moody. And
I had someone tell me they think the guy in the mask is actually Earth 2 Wally. And maybe Zoom is siphoning off his speed to live.
That's a good theory.
That was a theory I hadn't thought of before. So
I was hoping it was the actual Jay Garrick. But that was like a weird time loopy thing. Speaking of time travel, he goes back and gets his younger self and says, hey, I'm going to kill you. You okay with that? And he talks him into it. All right, I'm done whining.
Okay. So if you didn't see in a million places today, everybody saw Robert Downey Jr. is going to definitely be in the next Spider-Man movie. As Iron Man, of course.
I thought you were going to say Sherlock 3.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be in that too. And Michael Keaton's out.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap. But he's going to be the CEO of McDonald's.
What?
Yeah,
he's got a new
news somewhere other than
that is not the plot.
No, is there a new movie?
He has a new movie based on the beginning of McDonald's called
Ray
The Founder.
Kroc or whatever.
Huh?
Yeah, Ray Crocker. Is that his name?
It's pronounced Ronald.
Or Mr. McDonald.
Anyway, Willem Dafoe is going to be in the Justice League as a good guy. Who is he going to be? Lay it out there. I just look at this stuff and I think Michael's going to know the answer to this. Willem Dafoe's going to be...
He's such an oddball. Like, who would he play in the DC universe?
In every movie, every hero has to be a studly dude in his early 30s. Like, I can't imagine a middle-aged.
Like, if he was a hero, I'm thinking like...
I mean, do you think he's just going to be like a detective or something?
It's got to be something. He's got to be a normal guy.
Yeah.
Some oddball.
He is really thinking, folks. We're going to move on here.
One of the new gods, maybe? Like,
I can see that. Mobius?
Yeah.
Did I just pronounce that right?
Sure.
I think.
Damn.
And we're getting into rumors. Wolverine 3 maybe have X-23.
That would make total sense.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Which explain what X-23 is to everybody.
Well,
23rd tribe, right?
Yeah, she's a clone of Wolverine. And she actually started in the cartoon. She's another Harley Quinn where they get started in the cartoon and become part of the regular universe.
And rumor Maisie Williams plays Arya Stark on Game of Thrones.
That's not a rumor. She actually does.
No, that's true. Correction. She does play her. There is a rumor beyond that, Jordan.
I'm trying to stay on the ball with this stuff.
She may... Someone put out there that she may be being cast to play Wolfsbane in New Mutants. So... I don't know anything about them.
New Mutants, I would love to see.
Is that a movie? Are they doing that as a movie?
This is at rumor stage.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
and supposedly after they wrap up the X-Men franchise,
right? They don't want to talk about it now because this movie isn't out yet.
This is a way to make more X-Men movies for
see
Fox.
How many legs?
As soon as
the rights.
Apocalypse is done, then there will probably be some sort of announcement about that. And when she was approached about it, she's like. She played dumb, but said, sign me up. I like that stuff. Of course. And Blade Runner 2 moved its release date from January of 18 to October 17.
That's one of those movies I feel like is never going to come out.
Is Harrison Ford going to be in this?
I don't remember whether he was going to be in it. No, it's supposed to have, what's his name? The guy from Drive.
Yeah, that dude.
Gosling?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is supposed to be the main guy. I can't remember now whether Harrison Ford's supposed to be in it or not. I don't think so. But
if he is, he plays an angry dude.
Because I feel like they would ruin the ending of the first one. But
that was one of my favorite video games played on the computer was a Blade Runner game.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yep.
I didn't either.
But I didn't watch the movie till recently anyway, so that's one of those that I missed along the way and watched just in the last year. And then everybody noticed the news about the Hasbro G.I. Joe Micronauts Visionaries mask and ROM Raiders room.
I think this is totally
This has some pretty big... They've attached some pretty big names to this.
Yeah, they got Lindsay Beer from King Killer Chronicles. I don't know some of these names. Cheo Coker, showrunner of the Netflix Luke Cage show.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have the writing team that penned this Spider-Man Homecoming. Another writer from Black Panther and People vs. O.J. Simpson, which was a really good show.
Did you actually watch it?
I watched the whole thing, and it was great. There were so many good performances. But you will see.
That's what I keep hearing.
It was good.
Being young and remember that whole event, it just sounds like the most boringest thing to watch.
I totally agree, but
I've heard even David Schwimmer I heard did great.
Well, there's mixed reviews on him, but There,
I feel like this is our dynamic.
Could
Whatever
he be
I say,
any
he
more
says
guilty?
The opposite.
That's Chandler.
It's been a while.
That's on The Odd Couple.
We were on a break.
There you go. That's it. That's OJ and Nicole were on a break.
I just went down a really
His
bad rabbit
monkey
hole.
is driving the Ford Bronco.
That's right. Anyway, there were
Someone
some great
make that.
performances. The guy that played Johnny Cochran and is it Sarah? I always get her mixed up. Sarah Pauli or Sarah Paulson, whichever is the one that was on American Horror Story. She plays Marcia Clark and is awesome. And it's really well done. It's taken from all these people wrote books afterwards. So that's the thing you didn't get to see when you watched it live 20 years ago happen in front of our eyes. This is after all the books and everything compared together. This series was made and shows like all the behind the scenes things going on while the trial was happening. So it was really well done and definitely worth watching. Also part of the, and that writer's now part of the G.I. Joe writer's room and, including, Jeff Pinkner, who wrote the adaptation of Stephen King's Dark Tower. It goes on. The big name that I like was Brian K. Vaughan is going to be involved in
Surprising.
it. And Akiva Goldsmith, who won an Oscar for Beautiful Mind. So basically, they've really thrown a lot. They're starting like reasonably soon, working on figuring things out.
Did you see where the next 21 Jump Street's going to be with the Men in Black?
Yeah, it's going to be a crossover.
Yeah.
We can.
Why not?
We're like a blender these days. But actually, I saw people complain about it, but I could see a lot of those properties working very well together if handled properly. They're not completely crazy from one another where they wouldn't fit in together.
When we run out of things to remake, we just cross everything over.
That's
We
right.
just mix it together.
Make it brand new, baby.
And
the last thing with movies, I wanted to congratulate the guys who made Marking Out. Some local filmmakers. They just premiered it this month at the People's Bank Theater. They're from Mindfooled Entertainment. They do the podcast, the Figure Forecast, and they've spent at least a year filming this wrestling documentary where they've traveled around the country, going to big shows, little shows, small town, interviewing famous wrestlers, brand new wrestlers, old timers, fans. They said they were like, they sat back and looked at themselves like, we're grown men. Why do we still love wrestling? Should we stop watching this? Like, what are we doing with our lives? So they set out to answer that question. And all the reviews I've heard are amazing. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, if you're a fan of something a little childish or a little silly, it's apparently has, some really hilarious moments and some really insightful moments as well. So, and all those filmmakers are actually going to be at River City Comic Con in Marietta in July. And their DVD of the documentary just went on sale on their website. So mindfooled.com, you can buy the DVD. So I just wanted to congratulate those guys on a real labor of love. And I can't wait to watch the movie.
yeah, that sounds awesome. I was never a huge wrestling fan, but my granddad sure was. Oh my gosh, when I was a kid. We watched it whether we wanted to or not. And it was definitely
real.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. He was determined. It was all real. And so I was like, yeah, what he said. At a segment we used to have on SoPro podcast, and we're going to talk about games.
Challenge your imagination to come alive and to battle with the creatures of Dungeons and Dragons.
52!
You shot my battleship.
I got a bingo! What do I win?
It's Operation the Wacky Doctor's game where you're the Wacky Doctor. Batteries not included.
I blew it. My turn.
Shall we play a game?
Okay, so you get a double dose this week as our first week on doing games on Ka-Pow, and I'm going to talk about a game called Letters from Whitechapel. Before I do, I wanted to say real quick, this is kind of a new thing over the last few years, getting into these board games. So any new listeners here that haven't heard my spiel before, I used to play, video games all the time, like Call of Duty, things like that. I liked sitting in the room with people, and playing a game. It was a video game at the time. But now technology has gotten so far that you don't sit in the same room anymore. Everybody's at their homes playing over the internet, and it totally lost all of its pizzazz for me, because that was the whole thing to me, was to sit there and have a good time with my friends.
I just saw that they're talking about Facebook, how they're looking at the data and that grown men are going back to the arcades, like for that camaraderie.
Yeah.
And
Well, these retro arcades have started popping up all over the place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's great.
I remember a whole ad campaign in these early 2000s about Dungeons and Dragons, and the ad was a picture of a house. It was all dark with one light on and a sad guy at a monitor. And then there was a house next door where it was a bunch of people in the living room having a fun time.
Absolutely.
All the lights up. So even D&D did it because they were losing that market. So they had to say, get together and have some fun.
Well, and they're sparking, having a rebirth for them too. And, I don't play specifically D&D, but I have a group that plays, another role-playing game. We meet a couple times a month, and it's been going on for 2 years, this huge campaign, and it's so fun to just get together and play games. But we play a lot of board games too, and
now when you play with them, do you wear your fake mustache?
I have, yes. I took that game to the beach this last year, and Michael and some of the family played, and I put on fake mustaches and things to try to
was quite
have
comical.
fun. Yeah, it was a good time. And anyway, Letters from Whitechapel. Does anybody have a guess what that would pertain to? I bet Jordan does.
Bloody Jack the Ripper?
That's right. Yeah, Whitechapel, basically the district in London where the murders and raping took place. And
fun for the whole family.
Exactly.
Sounds great.
Exactly.
Can't wait to play with my kids.
Exactly. I would rate it PG-13 simply for theme, although you could easily get away with playing it and they never know what you're talking about. But it was made by these Italian designers, Gabriele Mari and Gianluca Santapietro, published by Fantasy Flight Games, which is a huge board game publisher. They do real quality, and a lot of time it was hard to find this game for a while. They just did a revised edition, and so it's easy to find about anywhere. It's based on Jack the Ripper, but it is a hidden movement game, one person versus everybody else. Basically, the way it works is one person is Jack, and everyone else are the police. And the board for the board game is a map of London, basically, and there's a bunch of numbers on there and squares that you move your pieces around. And
we don't get to be the ladies of the night.
Some people get to move them, but
I want to move them.
Basically, Jack picks a spot on the board that
Mike was hijacked the entire podcast.
Jack picks a spot on the board that is his hideout, and he writes it down, keeps it a secret. It's basically proof later. You can play through and show where they were when you were thinking he was somewhere else. But he always has to make it back after each night. There were 4 different nights that these murders.
Very complicated clue then. He's in the billiard room with a pipe.
Yeah, yes. It does have a little of that flavor. All the investigators work together to try to figure out where he is. They can, like on his turn, he will, attack. The first thing he does, everyone has their cops on the board in different places, not sure where he's going to pop up. There's also the women have pawns on the board, and he has to attack one of them. And then when he decides, he can sit and listen to all the cops give their plan, what they're going to do. It's supposed to go along with the theme of him hiding in the shadows, always one step ahead. And he will, when he thinks he's got enough room, he will murder one of the women. And then at that point, everyone knows where he is at on the board. And then he slips away and makes secret moves, he keeps track of. And whenever the police make their moves, they can search for clues by any of the squares connected to where they are. They can, if he has been there, he has to let them know, and they start laying clues down there on the board, or they can make an arrest if they think they know where he's at. And if he makes it back to his hideout within a certain number of moves, he declares that night's over, and you move on to the next night. He has special thing. He can take a carriage ride to go a couple spaces at once, or to go through where a police officer is. Just different tricks to the game, but as the game goes on each night, he has less of those things to use. He has less available to him, And they have had more information to figure out where his hideout is and ways to block him off. There's other games like this. There was a game when I was a kid called Scotland Yard that was like this. Only,
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, it was the same hidden movement type thing. It was good. And there's one called Fury of Dracula out that's similar to this, but it has some fighting along with it.
I'm just imagining breaking down like the Office episode with the Voodoo Mama Juju, like everyone talking in accents.
Yeah, when they had the deep Southern accents.
But it's it's a really good. I liked that as they're planning what they're going to do, he is just listening and can do something else. It's real funny if they have no idea where you are at, and you can show them when it's over how much smarter than them you were, or there's other added things to it. Getting the letters from Whitechapel, they have like little graphic cards showing the actual letters that were sent supposedly by Jack the Ripper, and this gives advantage to him that is an option to use that we didn't use, but just because it seemed pretty fair the way it already was. But basically, it's a lot of fun. It's very elegant. The art is gorgeous. All these new board games are just so well done, and I definitely recommended it. You can find it for about $35. Whether you think that's worth it or not, I definitely think it is. I was happy I got it in my collection.
Well, I will say some of these games have impressed me that you've been bringing around, because there was one night you brought up that zombie game, and it looked super freaking complicated, and I was like, oh, this is going to be boring. But once you really got into it, it drew you in and sucked you in, and you felt like you're part of the narrative. And
yeah.
And what you're doing.
I'm going to talk about that game one time. And one thing I try to do and give a suggestion to anyone that wants to introduce games to a group or your family, you want to have something to do when you guys are all together, is learn the rules before you come. And, and so when I show up with a game, I know how to play it, and I try to find the easiest way to explain it to everyone. We usually get right into playing.
Yeah. And no one wants to sit with a sheet of rules and be like, no, wait, what do I do? Yeah.
Yeah. I like to come in there and say, here's how you do this. And I think Michael can say that rarely do we have to go over rules for any amount of time. We just start playing.
And then if something goes wrong, you can just make up the rules.
Right. Nobody knows whether it's right or not. So I win.
You win.
I think there's only been an issue when your son's present and they have different ideas on what the rules are.
Yeah, he can expose me. Now Jordan also has a game he wants to talk about.
Yeah, I'm not much of a gamer, but I've played HeroClix a lot over the years.
Click, click.
Because it's kind of gaming for dummies. It's very simple. You can pick it up in about 5 minutes.
I locked them all.
Yes, these little, because I'm not smart enough to play Magic or D&D. I can't keep it all straight. But the HeroClix, everything's on the dial. It's a little miniature figure, and you have your hit points, your speed, your attack, your defense, and your damage. And as you take damage, your dial changes. You click it around. So, the Hulk would get madder and he'd get stronger, but everyone else, maybe they'd lose some defense, but they gain some stealthiness where they would run and hide. So, your characters, they're very well to the comics that they're based on with the power sets they all have.
Almost like role-playing video games like Final Fantasy and things like that.
Yeah, so move turn by turn, move by move. But it can get very complicated. I've played with people who take it very seriously, and there are, this rule negates that rule. So you can pick it up in 5 minutes, but it's not a game you're going to master anytime soon because there's so many, and every new set that comes out, they introduce some new rule that trumps some previous rule. So I just wanted to bring up, they finally released the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles version, which fans have been asking for years. And everything's compatible with everything else. Every set they've ever put out, you can play against each other. Marvel, DC, they've done a few of the indie ones. They've done several different versions, but people have been wanting the Turtles for a while.
Star Wars?
They don't have the Star Wars license, but they've done Star Trek with some of the ships and stuff. But so they released the Turtles as a single figure booster pack. So for $2.99, you get a figure and a package. You don't know what you're getting. But there's also a starter set that was $24.99, and it gives you all 4 turtles. If you can use them as normal, or there's a couple mini games included with it. And the cooperative defense game, which I'm sure if you're a real gamer, you know what that means, but I don't. So one side of the map is like the turtles' lair, and Splinter starts in the middle, and each player gets a turtle, and then every turn more Mousers start showing up. So at the end of each turn, you spawn new Mousers from different tunnels, and you have to protect Splinter for a certain number of rounds. And then there's...
And if you don't know what a Mouser is, you're not a true Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan.
Yeah, who are you? Then the other side of the map is Rescue April, called a cooperative exploration and combat game. So you have to search the sewer and find these tunnels, and when you uncover a tunnel, you add a new piece to the map, and then you might find the Rat King, and the rats will run at you, or more Mousers will attack you, and then April's working at the computer to try and shut down the portals that let the Mousers in. So it was fun. I played it with my nephews last weekend, and so they're...
And for the people out there, how old are your nephews?
My fifth and
wow, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there, buddy.
We just had a birthday, so I'm trying to remember. 5th grade and 2nd grade. So they're not going to pick up all the nuances of, well, I have super senses and there's a lot of real complicated stuff. But it says ages 14 and up, but the simpler starter set games, if you hit the Mouser, they die. It was really simple. They could pick it up real simple because my nephews have been watching my brother and I play this game for years, and they've always wanted to learn because the little miniatures look so cool. And I've always told them, you gotta get really good at math because you gotta roll dice and add a bunch of numbers real quick. So I'd like to think maybe that helped them in school trying to, become a better mathlete to join us. I doubt that had anything to do with it. But. So yeah, they picked it up pretty simply, and we had a good time playing it. So I definitely recommend it.
And where can they get that?
Well, WizKids didn't send me enough, so I'm out of them. So go to a better gaming store than Asylum. Because WizKids allocated, they didn't make enough, so I didn't get all the ones I ordered.
So it's not something you can reorder at the moment.
I've got the figures, I've got the booster packs.
Yeah, so if you want the figures, you can definitely get them.
And I've been opening those suckers up. I'm trying to get a full set, and I can't quite find all the ones I need.
By the way, the name of the board game Michael Scott brings out on that episode is Bells, Bourbon, and Bullets. And I don't know the rules except for whatever you say. I'm pretty sure you have to start out with, I declare.
I declare. Oh, that was
well, it's like, what was it on Parks and Rec? Cones of Dunshire. All right.
Gaming. We did it.
Yeah.
Yay! Only 4 episodes.
Well, I have had a very eventful evening with you gentlemen. It is time that I must say I bid adieu. But as always, I am the one, the only, the illustrious Michael K. Easton.
Michael just spoke French, you guys.
Oh.
I think we better leave. I'm Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm apparently the Double Dipper.
2 scoops.
2 scoops, that's what it was.
Get it right. You're my boy, 2 scoops.
For life.